Hey, it's your boy Two-Way Ray Williams from Nefarious Media Network and Styles Break Fights, here to let you know what happened this week in MMA. So, last week we had the UFC and the PFL both put on events that were televised on either streaming or national television. Let's start off with the UFC, who had a fight night event in Oklahoma City headlined by former UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman taking on former UFC middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis. Du Plessis earned a unanimous decision victory, with one judge scoring all 5 rounds for him, 50-45, while the other 2 judges scored 4 rounds to 1 in favor of DDP, aka Still Knox. DDP was very, very fluid with his striking, rocking Usman several times throughout the bout. There was one exclusive moment in which he landed a right hand, to which Usman thought it might have been a finger poke, but it turned out it was the turn of the knuckle of the thumb into the eye of Usman, which is perfectly legal. So Usman, don't know where he's going to go from here. I would think he wasn't looking very, very bad at welterweight. I think he should take a run at least trying to make it back to welterweight. Even if he's not going to be a champion, there's no way I'm saying that he is done or finished. He was tough as nails. He was very durable throughout the fight, was able to land everything that DDP threw at him. And I think he would at least still be a top 10 to top 5 contender in the welterweight division. As for DDP, we'll see what happens with the rest of the middleweight division. We'll see if Khamzat is given an immediate rematch against Strickland, or if Strickland is able to be lined up with Nasruddin Imavov. Either way, that means that DDP would most likely have to go through one more fight before he gets to that belt once again. As for the rest of the card, we got Christian Leroy Duncan earning a unanimous decision victory over Jared Cannonier in the middleweight division. We had Chase Hooper picking up the submission victory over Mitch Ramirez. We got Fatima Klein picking up the unanimous decision victory over Tabitha Ritchie, and Klein is becoming very, very popular nowadays. We'll see what her rise is like. And to end off the main card, we got Tommy Gunn McMillan earning the TKO victory over Alberto Montez in what was a firefight between the two. Let's shift on over to Professional Fighters League, where we had the interim middleweight championship on the line as #1 contender Johnny Eblen faced off once again against former light heavyweight champion Impa Kasangane. This was supposed to have been for the undisputed middleweight championship. However, current champion Constelo Von Steenis was unable to continue or unable to go through with the matchup due to injury. Eblen was able to get the 3rd round TKO victory over Kasangane, now making him not only a former undisputed champion, but now the current middleweight champion in the PFL. To go through the rest of the main card, we had Rafael do Nascimento get the submission victory over Louis McGrillen in the 2nd round in that bantamweight showdown. We also had Julio Arce picked up the unanimous decision victory over Cowlin Loughran in the featherweight division. And to round off the main card, we had Jesus Pinedo pick up a KO finish over Joey Raqueb by elbows and punches in the very first round in a catch weight of 147 pounds. So before we get into the fight cards that are happening this weekend, let's go ahead through one bit of news that came up from the past. And of course, it's not MMA news unless we include Conor McGregor. So McGregor gives an update on the severity of his injury suffered at UFC 329 in his return bout against Max Holloway. He says, quote, "Update. It was ACL and meniscus. It is the same injury as the first Holloway fight, only this time the opposite leg. Quite shocking. I returned to competition within 9 months to fight Diego Brandao back then. With today's regenerative medicine advancements and improved training methods, it is well within my realm to return by next summer. I'm walking without a crutch. I done leg extension machine work the other day to no issue. So I can walk without aid and activate my quad under resistance. All very positive. I am maximum disciplined and have maintained it fully since the bout rather. I wonder Was I saved from something worse here? I believe so, and I would have attended the after party as, quote, the man, and who knows then. I believe I was saved. So that's the most information we have gotten thus far since the stoppage was called and the fight was named in Max Holloway's favor due to TKO via referee stoppage. Conor also had some tweets that he later deleted in which he was answering questions about his mentality and how he looked going into the fight. He also talked about whether or not this was perceived as a pre-existing injury and what his thoughts were. And he mentioned not being on, as he put it, quote, any mind-altering substances, end quote, either before, during, or after the fight. If any other information comes out with McGregor, any updates, be sure to stay locked in here for more details. So let's get into all the fights that are happening this weekend. At the time of this recording, the UFC Abu Dhabi card is already wrapped up and in the books. In the main event, on the main card, we had former UFC light heavyweight champion Magomed Ankalaev pick up the 5th round TKO victory over Bogdan Guskov. Ankalaev was dominant pretty much from the starting bell onto the end of the fight. He was able to ground Guskov, was able to land big shots, and was able to earn the referee stoppage due to TKO. We also had rising star in the flyweight division, Ramazan Tamirov, pick up the knockout victory in the very first round over former UFC championship contender Steve Erceg with a blistering right hand that dropped Erceg face first into the canvas. Then we had Magomed Zainikov pick up the unanimous decision victory over Damian Rizpeki. We had Rizvan Kuniev pick up the knockout over Tyrell Fortune with a couple of blistering knees and head kicks that dropped Fortune. And to wrap up the main card, we have Abubakar Vagayev picking up the unanimous decision victory over Sajiv Izagakmayev. Now, with that UFC Fight Night being in the books, let's focus squarely on what's left this weekend as the PFL returns to Washington, D.C. So, headlining our main card in our nation's capital will be Thad Silverback Jean going up against Ernesto Starboy Rodriguez for the PFL Welterweight Championship. Rodriguez serves as a late replacement as Jean's original opponent, Shamil Mazayev, had to withdraw from the fight due to complications with his weight cut. So let's go ahead on down the line throughout this main card. In the co-main event, we have MMA veteran Tyson Pedro taking on Rafael Xavier in the light heavyweight division. Also in the light heavyweight division, we have Sullivan Cauley taking on Razul Magomedov. And to start off our festivities this evening on the main card, we have Eliezer Cabanza taking on Chris Mixon in the welterweight division. The main card starts off at 10 p.m. Eastern, only on ESPN and the ESPN app. So that'll do it for this week in MMA. I will come back next week with the results from this PFL card, along with any upcoming bouts for the following weekend. With that, I've been your host, Two-Way Ray Williams. If you like what you've been listening to and watching, please consider subscribing right here, either on the Styles Break Fights YouTube channel or the Nefarious Media Network. And if you're watching this during the time that it has been dropped, we should be over there on the Nefarious Media Network channel going over the WNBA All-Star Game live, having a live watch party. Come on through if you are so interested. With that, appreciate you joining me. I've been Two-Way Ray, you've been you, and we've been diving into this week in MMA. Peace out.